Welcome to the deep dive. So, you've sent over some really interesting material for us this week,
Mhm.
your new note, and also that article, the one focusing on vaginal septum.
That's right. Yeah, good stuff to get into.
Definitely. So, our mission today, really, is to kind of dig into these sources, pull out the key insights, help everyone listening understand what a vaginal septum actually is.
And how it fits into the bigger picture of vaginal health overall.
Exactly.
And, what's interesting is that a vaginal septum, it's basically just an extra fold or band of tissue inside the vaginal canal. It can run across, like horizontally, or it could be lengthwise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's congenital, something you're born with.
Mm-hmm.
It happens during fetal development.
So, a lot of women might not even know they have it for a long time, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It's often found later in life, maybe during an exam or if issues come up,
Hmm.
because it's not something routinely checked for.
Okay. But this extra tissue, it can cause problems, can it? I mean, the article mentioned things like discomfort during periods, trouble using tampons, sometimes even painful sex dyspareunia. Is that the term?
That's the medical term, yeah. And in some cases, it can actually, like, partially or even fully block menstrual blood from flowing out properly.
Which sounds not good.
Definitely not. And look, while the septum itself is a specific condition, the underlying stuff, we'll talk about vaginal health, the microbiome, that's relevant for all women.
Right. So even if you don't have a septum, this is still important info.
Absolutely vital for understanding your body and just, supporting overall well-being.
Okay, great. So let's really get into that connection. How does a septum, whether it's transverse going across or longitudinal dividing it, how does that actually impact vaginal health?
Okay, let's start with the transverse one, the band going across. The big thing here is the potential blockage of menstrual flow.
Right, the blockage you mentioned.
Yeah. And it might seem simple, but it can have this like cascade effect. If the blood can't get out easily,
Mm-hmm.
well, it can back up
Back up where?
into the fallopian tubes. That's called hematosalpinx. And even more seriously, if that blood flows backward into the pelvis, it might contribute to developing endometriosis.
Which is a whole other level of problems, pain, fertility issues.
Exactly. Big long-term implications. Plus, anywhere blood pools and gets stagnant, it's just not ideal. It can become a breeding ground for bacteria.
Ah, so that increases the risk for infections, like BV.
Yeah, bacterial vaginosis or BV, definitely. And even UTIs, urinary tract infections. That stagnant environment just throws things off balance. It's a key connection to see.
Wow, okay. That paints a really clear picture how a physical structure causes these knock-on effects. What about the other kind, the longitudinal septum, the one dividing the canal?
Yeah, so with a longitudinal septum, the main issue women usually report is pain during intercourse, dyspareunia again.
Because the spaces are narrower.
Exactly. That can cause friction, sometimes even tiny little tears in the vaginal tissue during sex.
Ouch. Which must be distressing too, emotionally.
Totally. It can lead to anxiety around intimacy, for sure. But it's not just the immediate pain. Those micro tears, they make the tissue more vulnerable
Vulnerable to what?
to chronic inflammation and to those microbial imbalances we keep talking about. It increases the odds of getting recurrent yeast infections or bacterial infections. It's like this cycle starts.
Okay, so whether it's blocking flow or causing friction, it really disrupts things. Now, what about surgery? If someone has the septum removed, is that it? Problem solved? Or is there stuff to think about during recovery?
That's a really, really important question. Surgery can definitely fix the physical structure issue. Well, the vaginal tissues themselves might be, temporarily weaker, more sensitive, maybe more prone to inflammation for a bit while they heal. Elasticity might be reduced temporarily.
Oh, okay.
And probably most relevant for our chat today, the surgery itself, the procedure, can disrupt that really delicate balance of the vaginal microbiome.
Ah, okay. So even fixing the structure doesn't automatically fix the internal environment?
Right. It's like weeding a garden. You've pulled out the big weed, the septum, but now you need to kind of nurture the soil, the microbiome, so the good stuff, the beneficial bacteria, can thrive again.
That's a great analogy. So focusing on that internal environment is key. Which brings us right to the vaginal microbiome. Can you give us a quick refresher? What is it? Why is it so vital, especially when things get disrupted like this?
Absolutely. So think of the vaginal microbiome as this like bustling community of tiny organisms living in the vagina. In a healthy state, the dominant residents are bacteria called lactobacillus.
Lactobacillus, got it.
And what's amazing about them is they produce lactic acid.
Lactic acid, okay.
And that lactic acid creates an acidic environment. The ideal pH is somewhere between 3.8 and 4.5.
Pretty acidic.
Yeah. And that acidity is like a natural shield. It's super effective at stopping harmful bacteria and fungi from overgrowing. It's your body's own defense system.
It's like a built-in security force. Okay, so how do these septum issues, the blockage, tissue tears, even the surgery, how do they mess with that balance?
Well, okay, take the obstruction. Like we said, that stagnant environment can let less helpful bacteria get a foothold, tipping the balance the wrong way.
Right.
Tissue damage, like those micro tears from friction, that breaks down the physical barrier, the vaginal lining, creating little openings for opportunistic bugs to get in.
Makes sense.
And surgery, even though it's necessary, it's still a stressor on that environment. That stress can temporarily change the pH and reduce the population of those good guys, the lactobacillus.
And when that balance gets thrown off,
Yeah,
that's when the problems start.
exactly. That's often when we see things like bacterial vaginosis, BV. You get that overgrowth of harmful bacteria causing irritation, discharge, maybe an odor.
Mm-hmm.
Or, similarly, the imbalance lets Candida, the yeast fungus, overgrow. Result, yeast infection, itching, burning, discomfort.
Familiar symptoms for many, unfortunately.
Right. And, like we touched on, if the vaginal environment is compromised, it's easier for harmful bacteria to kind of migrate next door to the urinary tract,
Leading to UTIs.
leading to more UTIs. It's all interconnected.
And it sounds like if this keeps happening, you can get stuck in a cycle of chronic inflammation. What does that do?
Yeah, exactly. Chronic inflammation, whether it's from the septum itself not being treated or maybe part of the post-surgery healing, it essentially weakens that vaginal barrier over time.
Weakens it how?
Makes the tissue more sensitive, more easily irritated by things that normally wouldn't cause a problem, and it makes it less effective at fighting off future infections, whether bacterial or fungal or whatever.
It's like the defenses are down.
Kind of like that, yeah. The tissue loses some of its natural resilience.
Okay, that's a really clear link. Now, stepping back a bit, even for women without a septum, this whole microbiome discussion sounds incredibly important. Why is keeping that healthy crucial for everyone?
Oh, absolutely. Because, really, the microbiome is the bedrock of vaginal health for every single woman. Full stop.
The foundation.
Totally. Like we said, it handles that crucial pH regulation via lactic acid. That's your #1 defense against infections. But it does more.
Oh, like what?
Well, a healthy microbiome actually supports the resilience of the vaginal tissues themselves, helps keep them strong and maintain their integrity. And, maybe surprisingly, it even plays a role in the local immune response right there in the vagina.
Wow. So it's doing a lot.
It really is. So keeping that balance, it's key for all women if they want to proactively prevent infections and minimize inflammation. It's about working with your body's natural defenses.
Okay, this makes so much sense. So we understand the potential issues, septum-related or general imbalance. What does a holistic approach to managing vaginal health look like? What are the key strategies, especially maybe for someone post-surgery, but also just generally?
Right. So a holistic approach is really about supporting the body's own ability to heal and find balance again. So one piece is supporting tissue healing, especially after surgery. Gentle, soothing things like aloe vera, reishi mushroom is another one mentioned. They can help calm inflammation and support that repair process.
Natural soothers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then, and this is crucial, actively replenishing the good bacteria, the microbiome.
Probiotics.
Yeah, targeted probiotics can be really helpful here. Specifically looking for ones with those well-researched lactobacillus strains, like Acidophilus, Rhamnosus, Reiteri, Plantarum, maybe Bacillus coagulans too.
Why those specific ones?
Because studies suggest they're particularly good at helping restore that balance, getting the pH back to where it should be, and reducing infection risk.
Okay, so bringing back the good guys. But what if some of the less helpful microbes have already overgrown?
Good point. That's where natural antimicrobials can sometimes play a supportive role.
Like what?
Ingredients like oregano leaf extract or caprylic acid, they can help gently knock back the harmful bacteria or fungi, ideally without completely wiping out the beneficial ones you're trying to encourage.
A more targeted approach.
Sort of, yeah. And if there's ongoing inflammation or discomfort, using anti-inflammatory compounds could also be part of the picture. And finally, thinking about strengthening the vaginal barrier itself.
How do you do that?
Nutrients that support tissue integrity and hydration. Again, aloe vera comes up. Antioxidants can play a role too.
Got it. A multi-pronged strategy. Now, one of the sources, the article specifically mentioned a product called Balance Complex, seemed relevant for women dealing with septum issues or post-surgery. What did the information say about that?
Yeah, Balance Complex was presented as a uh, scientifically formulated vaginal probiotic supplement designed, it says, to support women managing vaginal health, highlighting potential benefits for those with septum complications or recovering from surgery.
Okay.
It's described as having a pretty comprehensive blend, those probiotics we talked about, plus some natural antimicrobials and anti-inflammatory ingredients.
Right, and they seem to really emphasize its history, calling it the original vaginal probiotic, saying it's been around over 10 years, sold like over 15 million capsules.
Yeah, the source material definitely highlighted those points.
And a high probiotic concentration, 100 billion CFUs per gram, plus cranberry and D-mannose, which people often link to urinary health.
That was mentioned too. Often used for UTI prevention support.
Plus, tons of Amazon reviews, apparently. Okay, so looking at the ingredients they list, what are the purported benefits based on the source?
Okay, so the core is that vaginal probiotic blend. High CFU count, like you said, 100 billion per gram. And it includes those key lactobacillus strains, Acidophilus, Rhamnosus, Reuteri, Plantarum, and Bacillus coagulans.
And what do those supposedly do?
Well, the info suggests Acidophilus is great for lactic acid and pH, stopping bad bacteria. Rhamnosus supports immune defenses, potentially reducing infection risk. Reuteri is linked to reducing inflammation and helping healing. Plantarum offers antioxidant effects, supporting tissue resilience. And Bacillus coagulans is there to further enhance that microbial balance.
So specific roles for each one.
That seems to be the idea presented, yeah. Selecting them for specific functions in vaginal health.
Okay. And what else is in there besides the probiotics?
Well, there's that cranberry and D-mannose blend. The idea there usually is that they help prevent certain bacteria like E. coli from sticking to the urinary tract lining.
Helping prevent UTIs.
That's the goal, yeah. Then oregano leaf extract, we mentioned that as a natural antimicrobial, helps keep harmful microbes in check, hopefully without decimating the good ones. Caprylic acid is in there too. That's a fatty acid known for targeting yeast overgrowth, like candida.
Okay. And what about those enzymes, protease and cellulase?
Ah, yeah, that's interesting. So sometimes harmful bacteria form these sticky protective layers called biofilms.
Biofilms, right.
And these biofilms can shield the bacteria from probiotics or antimicrobials. The protease and cellulase are included, according to the source, to help break down those biofilms.
Making the other ingredients more effective.
Potentially, yeah. That seems to be the rationale.
Interesting. What else is on that list?
Let's see. Aloe vera leaf, we talked about that for soothing, anti-inflammatory properties, promoting healing. Arabinogalactan, that's thought to help boost immune function. Right. Aniseed is listed for potential antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory benefits. Then black walnut hulls and wormwood. These are often used traditionally to help fight off bacteria and fungi and support microbial balance and immune health.
More traditional ingredients.
Seems like it. And finally, reishi mushroom. Again, known for helping reduce inflammation, promoting tissue repair, and strengthening immunity. It really does look like they aimed for a broad spectrum formula based on that list.
Definitely sounds comprehensive. Okay, so putting specific products aside for a moment, what are some practical, just everyday tips for maintaining good vaginal health? Stuff that applies to everyone listening.
Absolutely. Okay, number one, if you have had surgery, follow your post-op care instructions to the letter. That's paramount.
Right. Doctor's orders first.
Always. Then, super simple but effective, stay well hydrated. Water helps everything, including tissue health.
Good old H2O.
Yep. And be gentle down there. Use mild, unscented soaps only on the outside. Avoid douching, harsh wipes, heavily fragranced products. Those can really disrupt the natural pH.
Keep it simple.
Pretty much. And, as we've discussed, maybe consider incorporating probiotics. Could be through fermented foods, could be a targeted supplement if that feels right for you and your healthcare provider agrees.
Worth looking into.
For many, yes. And finally, don't skip your regular checkups. Pap smears, wellness visits, they're key for catching things early and just proactive care.
All really solid practical advice. Now, that new note you sent also mentioned something called vaginalquiz.com, spelled vaginalquiz.com. What's the story there?
Ah, yes. So according to the note, vaginalquiz.com is pitched as a quick online quiz, science-backed, it says, designed to give women a personalized look at their vaginal health in just a couple of minutes.
A quick check-in?
Yeah. The goal seems to be helping women understand maybe why they're experiencing things like discomfort, dryness, odor, or just feeling generally off down there.
Things that can be confusing.
Totally. And the site apparently highlights that these feelings can be tied to all sorts of things: hormones, diet, stress, even the products we use.
Okay, so you take this quiz online. What happens then? What kind of results do you get?
The information suggests that after the quiz, you get a custom breakdown, like your specific vaginal health profile, pointing out potential imbalances.
Personalized feedback.
Right. And along with that, expert-backed suggestions tailored to your symptoms and lifestyle. And even mentions you might get recommendations for specific supplements or habit changes.
To help restore balance.
That seems to be the idea, yeah,
Yeah.
to help restore natural balance. It's positioned as sort of a convenient, private first step, a way to get some insights without maybe needing an immediate doctor's visit or getting lost down an internet rabbit hole.
Like a starting point for figuring things out, feeling more informed.
Exactly. The note frames it as a way to feel more empowered about your intimate health.
Okay, could be useful for some folks. So that website, again, if anyone's curious, is vaginalquiz.com, vaginalquiz.com.
That's the one mentioned, yep. Presented as a way to kind of proactively manage your feminine health. Smart and empowering, as they put it.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, we've really covered how a vaginal septum, while it's a specific condition someone's born with, can definitely impact vaginal health in some significant ways.
Big potential impacts.
But, and this is maybe the bigger takeaway, whether you have a septum or not, keeping that vaginal microbiome healthy and balanced, that's just crucial for all women.
Absolutely. Understanding that delicate ecosystem down there, taking steps to support it, gentle hygiene, healthy lifestyle, maybe targeted probiotics if appropriate, it's all key. Key for preventing infections, reducing inflammation, promoting overall comfort and health.
And really, it just comes back to knowing your own body, right?
Being attuned to your body is always the first best step towards understanding your health and feeling your best.
On that note, maybe something to think about. What other subtle signals might your body be sending you about its overall balance, things you haven't quite tuned into yet? Definitely food for thought. Thanks for diving deep with us today.